Hey guys, so I started to do this big reveal, did not go as planned. So I'm going to do it in my way, the way I want to. My black economic news. So I've come to realize that there are only 10 stocks on the stock exchange that are black owned. Only 10. And I wanted to give the world just a synopsis of how we're doing as our people in our community. So, one, News One or Urban One. Urban One has two stocks on the stock exchange. They have Urban One and Urban One with a K at the end or something. And Urban One closed at $5.55 on Friday, and the other one closed at like $1.16. And what's so good about that is it has potential for growth. It's like a really good growth stock. So what I'm learning is, or looking at over time, like what has gone on this week with Urban One. So for sure, they have expanded their Radio One platform for more podcasts and more creator content and stuff. That's pretty cool. So I know for sure that $1.16 and that $5.55 is only the beginning. So if you're looking for some good stock, that's a good start. Then also, what is it? The Bank Corp. What is it called? Give me a second. I got my notes. They be all over the place. But that stock, the Broadway Financial Corporation, they closed at $1.97, right? So if you're looking for like a cheap stock, that's a good one because they merged with this bank called Citibank or City One or City First Bank. And with City First Bank and them coming together, the two companies, the two banks are now a big bank. They can get more lending because they're like the biggest minority depository in the country. So they're the biggest black bank technically in the country. That can make a deposit, like minority deposits, so that can give out more small business loans. They can give out home ownership loans. Just they have more to offer. So that the bank is only going to go up. So $1.97 is pretty low. Usually was a Bank of America and Wells Fargo trade around $33. And that's just one of their, plenty of stocks. But just saying, it's a thought. And then you got Carver Bank Corp. That's out of New York. I think they're headquartered in New York. That bank for sure closed at $10.06, right, on the NASDAQ. All of these actually trade on the NASDAQ, which is ironic. Like, how do we not know that our stuff trades? So the $10.06, and they are being backed by JP Morgan Chase, who just gave them $6 million to help with the economic empowerment of minority business and banking stuff. So that gives us a little bit more leeway to do more stuff. So we need to actually get in on those different banks and stuff or those different stocks, because over time there's nothing else but to go up from here. Look at what Reddit did to GameStop, we can do it to our own stocks. So then there are a lot of potential ones that I was looking at over time. This is one out of Maryland called RLJ Lodging Trust. It's a REIT, or a real estate investment trust. So that one actually has Hampton Inns and Marriott's or something like that in it. Whole bunch of hotels. So that one closed at $15.70 on Friday. So I know this week, we're about to go into, the season to travel, and hopefully COVID is starting to come to an end. So $15.70 is trading pretty low for that stock. So that's a good one, I think. And then Exum Therapeutics. That's a great stock. It creates treatment for, depression and Alzheimer's disease. That stock closed at $67.36. But that's a very, very, very important stock to get a part of. It's called Exum Therapeutics. Exum Therapeutics. Remember that name because it's actually doing really great work. Excuse me. And then you have Global Blood Therapeutics, which is, I think, the one most important because it does sickle cell anemia disease treatment, which sickle cell definitely plagues our community. So we need to pay attention to Global Blood Therapeutics. They closed at $42.60, and they also trade on a NASDAQ. Most of our stocks either NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange, which is pretty good. And then we have two other that are over the counter, hidden little side ones that's eventually will get there. But we also got to keep in mind for Bling Identity Corp. That's a good one. I like Bling because it actually it protects our identity. Like, we used to call it identity theft shield stuff, that kind of cool stuff. And then Citizens Bank Share, that's the one we got to keep our mindset on. And Light Media, that one is new. And that one was traded was it $1? It was something cheap. But all of these you can always Google and figure out their stock tickers and go and invest on your own. That's what TD Ameritrade is for. If you want to do it by yourself, just fund your account. It's really easy. And then you have American Shares Hospital Services. That's the last of the 10 that are Black owned and always trading on the stock exchange. And then we have, what else is Black news that we need to know? Oh, there are two great things we need to pay attention to. One, we need to pay attention to our credit scores. So usually when you don't buy a house, you need a 620 credit score. The rules have been changed to 640. And the crazy thing about being at 640, because everyone was starting to fix all their credits and like, oh, home ownership, and we were starting to actually have some momentum there. But, you know, when we get some momentum, they changed the rules a little bit. So they changed it to 640. So now you need a 640 so you can get a mortgage, to get a lender, to buy a house. 680 if you want a conventional loan, which is a whole nother thing, but we talk about the difference another time. Don't feel like going into that because it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. And what else do you need about? Oh yeah, and of course you like your 3% down and stuff. But 640 is the new score that you're gonna need. So keep cleaning that credit, keep opening those lines of credit up, keep paying down stuff, make sure your debt to income ratio is where it needs to be. And then the most important news, I want everyone that's going to school or your child's about to matriculate into school, however that school stuff works. FAFSA has been doing audits for Black and brown students at a very high rate that is disproportional to other races. And that's bad for our community because, I mean, if they can't get their financial aid or a student aid report back, that basically helps us get scholarships and stuff because that student aid report says, oh, she does need a little more extra money. Now you can't pay for stuff. You're going to sit there and just be like, you know, your financial aid is what you need. I know I was a financial aid student. So if you can't get your financial aid because of your audits that the government is doing right now, it's kind of discouraging. So you want to make sure that in order to get through your audit, if you are called, because more than likely you're probably going to be called. I won't say more than likely, just in case that you are, what you want to keep in mind is, one, keep in mind all of your correspondence. Make sure you have your parents' taxes on you if you need a copy of that on a PDF file somewhere. Have your taxes on you just in case you're trying to get your master's, doctorate, whatever, because they've been pulling people, Black and brown students. So you want to make sure all of that is in order. Definitely pay attention to your emails and respond in a timely fashion so that you can get it done, because this audit can take weeks and right now in cases months. So you don't want to be out of school waiting to go back in, losing financial aid, losing scholarships because you don't have your student aid report and your audit has not been, completed. So keep that in mind as you're going through school. Tax season, don't lie. Please don't lie on your taxes because, this is why the audits are happening. So the government doesn't have a lot of money, so it's going to keep trying to squash all of the pennies into more pennies, into more pennies. So I hope you guys learned something. The 10 stocks that are Black owned, keep your score past 640 to buy a house, and FAFSA. See you guys next Monday. That's your Black financial economic news that impacts our community. Hope you learned something new. See you next Monday.